Hi guys, so had an absolutely terrifying thing happen this morning and I'm just going to show you. So as you can see, this caught on fire, and it caught on fire at that point, not actually a point that I would be checking for a leak. And luckily enough, I caught it. I hadn't left the house. I was just hanging out, and I had actually just looked at it and saw that it was burning fine. Walked past, put a log in the fire, walked back over, and noticed that the whole area was lit up with light, which wasn't normal. So I then very quickly realized that the back of the unit was on fire. I grabbed it off of the wall, grabbed the tank, ran it outside, turned the tank off, and set it down in the snow, and the fire went out, and it was absolutely terrifying. I think it took probably an hour for the adrenaline to come down, which emotionally exhausted me for today. So now I'm trying to decide. Obviously, we have to take this brand new line back and replace it, but I'm going to pull it off of here, clean it up, and bring it back inside. And I have a different hose connection, and I kind of want to hook it up and see how it does. So I know it seems pretty scary to want to reuse the unit after it caught on fire, but honestly, I'm here monitoring it. It's terrifying to have it connected to the unit, to the propane, and have it catch on fire. So I completely agree with you. But I don't feel like, it doesn't look like anything was done to anything here on the inside other than this little bit of charring that happened on the outside. It really was the hose, and it was the connector part that they connect in-house. So it wasn't the part that I did. So other than it not being as pretty here on the back side, it really does seem to be okay. And the only way I'm really going to find out is by plugging it back in and testing it. And I guess I would have to say that's maybe the difference between those of us that have kind of been in the country for a long time, and we know you just gotta fix your own things and work through your own things. I would love to be able to send this back, but I bought it. I bought it through the mail, and it's winter, and it really needs to be very broken before I'm just gonna try to send it back. So that looks like that's all that's coming off. Now, I'd had a line that had a regulator on the end, and I don't think that that's going to work on the other line that I have that I used to use on my Big Buddy. So it has the end that hooks directly up into here, but that won't fit into there. And this and the other line was bought together in the same package. So I really want to keep that together because we're going to be returning it. I guess I'm not going to be able to hook this up. That's so frustrating. Kelly's not going to come over till tomorrow, and then we'll go take that one back and replace it. So that basically leaves me without heat because my firewood is too wet and doesn't want to burn. So this was why I was so excited about this propane heater, is because my firewood is wet and I've pretty much ran out of dry firewood. So I've been fighting a fire all morning. I had it started and then it went out. So we're about, I think, 65 degrees in here right now, and it's not terrible, but we're about 28 outside. We're supposed to get to 36. So I guess we'll just be monitoring the temperature in here with no heat going. Good morning, guys. So it's been a few days. I've done a ton of running around. I brought in a bunch of fire. As you can see, we have a cold spell coming on. So we're gonna have about, I don't know, I think it's like 4 or 5 days of snow. And so I've just been prepping for that. We've had such amazing weather. And I think I left you guys last with the fire that I had. I've gotten all of that fixed. Let me show you. So basically I have a new hose. Hi, Chloe. A new hose, and I've ran it for a couple of days and it's worked fantastic. So it looked like that was a manufacturer problem. So that was not the way I hooked it up. Now I've got it all hooked up and it works great. So here's what we're working on today. So I am finally going to get all of the shiplap on this back wall. I had to pull out the dishwasher and open up this space all back here. So I've actually decided that this 2x3 right there actually does not need to be on it. Nothing is sitting on it. So that's going to come out. And then I'm just going to start putting all of the shiplap on. I need to move this down a little bit because it's the see, we weren't really sitting all the way on there, so it kind of is in the back but not up in the front. So I'll make sure that that's in the wrong place. It actually doesn't look like it with this. I do know that the feet on the bottom of there need to be screwed in because it does sit up a little bit higher. Hi, buddy. Did Mama squat on the floor? You came to see her. You're such a good boy. So that actually held the butcher block countertop off of the thing. So yeah, I kind of see that it's, you know, these aren't perfectly flat. So unless I was to send it to a planer, it's gonna turn a little bit. But it is sitting good in the back, just not up in the front. And it is sitting good up over here. So yeah, that's all a thing. So I made a decision to not work on all of the stuff underneath this sink, and let me tell you why. This is not an ADD thing. So I actually want to polyurethane the inside of all of the cabinets to protect the wood. And I don't want to have to move around all of the plumbing and all of the stuff to do that. And I don't want to open up my can of polyurethane until I'm able to use all of it because I have a gallon. So we're going to go ahead and get this wall done and finish with the cabinets, the uppers and lower cabinets on this east side. So we have all, actually right here is where the coffee hutch is going to go. And then we have all the uppers that go to there, and then all the lowers that go from there all the way to here. And I do need to put in the vent for the stove. So that's what I'm working on this week. And it's going to be this video and probably the next video that you guys will get to see all of that done. So make sure, if you're not subscribed, if you're just a visitor to the channel, that you go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell notification, and come back and watch, because I am bound and determined to get these cabinets up. It has been hard living in the middle of putting these together. It is a constant shifting through everything. It's just always everything everywhere, and then you have to move everything out of the way to do a job and then put everything back. So I'm really looking forward to being done with that. So that being said, let's get started. So I was chatting with one of my friends and I had said, I feel like this is the house that built me. The amount of things that I've been learning on this journey have been absolutely incredible. And sometimes I wonder, what should I share with you? Because obviously you can see what I'm doing, and there's only so much information that I can give about nailing up shiplap. And one of the things that I have for this channel is that I really want it to be an inspiration. I want it to be an inspiration in your life to do something new, to learn something new, and to continuously work on yourself. It is really difficult to learn something in front of people for me. I get very uncomfortable. I feel like I'm going to fail, and, and then that causes me a lot of anxiety. But I've decided to actually share with you guys, and I've shared this in the past, but I think I'm going to kind of do a series about it, and in my next, maybe through this whole build of this tiny house, the rest of it, share with you things that I've moved through in my life. And one of the biggest things that I've done is I am a recovering alcoholic. This summer, I will have 9 years of sobriety. One thing about addiction is that addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. One of the things that I always wanted to do was build my own house, but I never felt that I truly was able to do that. And, YouTube makes you believe you could do anything. So here I am building my own house, and I'm doing it. I may not be doing it in the way that, other people do it, but I'm definitely doing it. Recovery is not simply abstinence. It's about healing the brain, remembering how to feel, learning how to make good decisions, becoming the kind of person who can engage in healthy relationships, cultivating the willingness to accept help from others, daring to be honest, and opening up to doing. And I would have to say the thing that was hardest for me was forgiving the girl that I was back then. And the most liberating and empowering day of my life was the day I freed myself from my own self-destructive nonsense. These are all quotes that I read this morning, and they hit really deep. And it's one of the things that I do after my Bible study is I read quotes to inspire me. I can really self-destruct on I'm not good enough, and I should have done that better, and I could have done that better. But the reality of it is if I don't work through the steps of what needs to be done, then I don't know what I could have done better. Next time I'll do better. That's what I know. Right here, my nail gun jammed, and it jammed bad. Like, I had to look up how to actually pull this whole thing apart and pull this nail out. And that's something that would have completely shut me down in the past. And I was able to just go, okay, let me look it up. Let me do it. It's no big deal. And then we'll get back at it. But that's because I have years of recovery. That's because I had people in my life that said, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Let's figure this out. Everything is figureoutable. I can't say it. Figureoutable. Yeah, that's a hard word to say, but it is doable. You can. I come from a addicted family. Some people are addicted to the drama. Some people are addicted to drugs. Some people are addicted to alcohol. Some people are addicted to food. We have a lot of food addiction and alcohol addiction in my family. And we have very little recovery in my family. In fact, both of my parents died in their addictions. And, that was really hard to look at when I realized that I too was also an alcoholic. And I think it's very easy to say, well, this is who I am, this is who I was destined to be, and therefore I can't change that. And one of the best things that absolutely happened to me was when he walked out of my life. Because here's the thing, it was not a good relationship, but it filled that need for me to feel wanted and loved and cared for. But it was what I'd known. It was the mental abuse that I had known in my life. So that was comfortable for me. In recovery, I've had to learn just because it's comfortable does not mean that it's right. And that I've had to learn to be on my own and be comfortable and feel happy on my own, feel fulfilled on my own. And I do this through my 12 steps of recovery. And now through my Bible study. It took me a long time to be okay with organized religion. I always believed in God, but I did not believe in organized religion. And over the last few years, I have absolutely been working on that. So I'm going to share my story with you throughout these next videos. And I really would hope that you would share this video if you think it would help somebody that is in recovery or thinking about recovery. The thing is we recover because somebody turned around and grabbed our hands and drug us out of the pits of hell and put our hand in God's hand. And as much as some people battle with God, that is how this happens. And so I hope that you will share this video with somebody who needs that, who wants that, who maybe needs to watch somebody else live this life out loud and in front of them. And I can be that person. I can do that. I've absolutely done things that I am ashamed of, but I also know that they caused me to grow. Okay, so basically all I have left to do is fill in that little piece over there. And I am going to eventually be putting a live edge base there on the bottom, but that's not going to be till a little bit later this year because I want to get it sanded really nice and maybe stain it or whatever. But so for now, I'm just going to use that piece of plywood. But how amazing does that look? So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It totally helps the channel out. Really appreciate you. And if you really like me, give me a thumbs up and a comment below. Let me know where you're from, if you've done this before, or what you think. And I also know that I can turn around and say, hey, I did that too. And here's how I recovered from that. And sometimes that's exactly what it takes, is for somebody else to say, you are not an awful, horrible person because you did this thing. Because I did that thing too. And I've worked through the steps and I've dug deep and I've figured out that I am a good human being on this planet. And I deserve to be loved and I deserve good things to happen in my life. And those good things happen as long as I stay recovered from my addictions. And I know that you guys can absolutely tell that I have an addiction with food. It is definitely a battle. I think it's the hardest one because you have to eat. You can't just abstain from it. So you have to realize what this relationship with food is all about. And I think this is probably one of the hardest things that I am working on in my recovery now. It's definitely easier to just never indulge in the thing that you're addicted to, but you can't do that with food. So that's kind of the journey that I'm working on this year, is that addiction with food. But I'm bringing in all of the things that I've learned in my 12 steps, and I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to share my entire story. And I hope that you will share yours with me. Definitely leave comments. If you want something more private and you want to send me an email, the email is in my description page below the video, and I would love to hear from you. I do want to tell you that I read all of the comments. I try to answer all of them, but I know as the channel grows, I'm just not going to be able to do that. I'm one person trying to do all of these things, but please do not think that you have not been seen or heard, because you have. And I'm so glad that you're on this journey with me and that you guys have been a lot of my support group through these last few years. One of the hardest things that happened, I would say, for the alcoholic community or the addicted community was when COVID hit and meetings stopped. We definitely did things online, but one of the things about recovery is you need to be seen, because you know how they say, don't bullshit a bullshitter. Other alcoholics can see through your avoidance, can see through the things that you're doing. And so it's really important to make sure that you have people in your life that are like-minded, that have gone through this, that can say, hey, you're lying to yourself right now. And I've had some absolutely amazing people in my life that do that for me. I have a fantastic sponsor. You'll hear me quote her all the time. And I think that's the thing that's the coolest stuff about this. I don't have to figure this out. There are so many people that have gone before me that have shared their stories and therefore have made my recovery easier. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Thanks for letting me tell my story. Thanks for listening to my story, and thank you for sharing my story. If it will help one person recover, then it's worth it to be a complete open book, and that's what I hope to be. Okay, I did get a very small amount of paint on there, but I do plan on sanding it, so I'm not super worried. But I don't know if you guys can tell since we're facing the actual window, but I really love the whitewash. It's legitimately one of my favorites, and I haven't decided if I want to paint the around the window just a solid white or if I want to whitewash it. I do know that here at the base of it, right here, that I'm gonna do a live edge later this summer. So I'm not super worried about it right now. I'm gonna live with it like this for a little bit and then make a decision and decide what I want to do. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate every single one of you. And I'll put a link below to the Bible study that I was doing this morning. I absolutely love it. It's been a lot of fun going through the Bible as a learning text and being taught how to study it. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.